Welcome to OHAUS by OHAUS, a podcast where we discuss topics related to everything in the OHAUS world, from new and existing products to application stories from relevant industries. I'm your host, Eric Hall. In today's episode, we're happy to welcome back Peter Will, Marketing Product Manager for Lab Equipment and Water Analysis Meters for the Americas, to talk us through the Achiever 5000 series.
Hey, Eric, thanks a lot for having me on to talk about the Achiever today.
What, in sort of a broad overview, what is the Achiever 5000 series?
Yeah, so the Achiever 5000, it's a line of overhead stirrers that OHAUS launched towards the end of 2020. And they're really a great addition to our sample stirrers and shaker portfolios. These overhead stirrers provide the ability to stir more viscous and larger solution samples. They also complement our Guardian hot plate stirrers. Because the overhead stirrers are used to mix large volumes of samples and also highly viscous samples, they have strong motors in them. And so as opposed to a traditional hot plate stirrer, the Achiever overhead stirrers are able to provide more torque and therefore can mix these larger samples more efficiently. And that's kind of where the term Achiever came from. So we have like two levels of stirring now, one in our Guardian hot plate stirrers, but now with the overhead stirrers, the users are able to achieve more mixing capabilities because these stirrers just are stronger and they're just by their industrial design, they're capable of accomplishing a lot more.
Oh, that's great. What industries do you normally find the need for something like that?
So I guess similar to the Aqua Searcher, overhead stirrers, the Achiever really has many uses. There's lab applications, such as when a lab is making a buffer solution. There are industrial applications, such as when you're mixing paint or ink or even adhesives. Then there are also pharmaceutical applications for drug formulation, like in an example of compounding pharmacies. And we've developed something, Eric, that's really a nice guide that can be found on OHAUS.com. It's something that the users can look at called our kit and application guide. And that gives various examples of how the overhead stirrers are used and which type of accessories might be needed based on the type of application.
Oh, that's great. That's really helpful. Similar to the Aqua Searcher, is there a broad range of models in the Achiever series?
There are, yes. So we have 5 different models, and then each of those provide different maximum viscosity mixing capabilities, which ranges from 10,000 up to 100,000 millipascal. And millipascal is basically just a unit of measure that's used when we're talking about viscosity. And then each model can also accept up to 8 of the different mixing paddles. So there's 8 different accessories that are used, and depending on the sample that's being mixed or the desired mixing flow, the user would select a specific paddle. But we have 5 different models, we have 8 different paddles, so it kind of gets a little bit cumbersome for an end user to decide, hey, what's the best model for me? So again, to make it easier for a customer to choose the right product, we developed another great selector guide that's also on our website, and that's a great way to help users make their product selection. So if they go to the product page, they're able to download that selector guide, and I would definitely recommend that.
Obviously, you've mentioned the Achiever series having a lot of versatility. Is that really what you would see as one of the main differentiators between the Achiever and other products, similar products in the market?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you So they're differentiated against each other, but they're also differentiated against the competition. I mean, we do have those 5 models that have the range of the mixing range between 10,000, 100,000 millipascal. So different capabilities when it comes to viscosity. We also have something called a keyless chuck. So in order to attach the paddles, the customer needs to loosen up the chuck, which is basically the head that holds the paddle on. And the design on ours doesn't require any tools. Like if you're familiar with a drill that you use at your house, usually there's a drill bit that you like a chuck that you need to open with the bit. In this way, it's a keyless chuck. They can just unscrew it, slide the paddle up, and then tighten it again. So that's a differentiating feature than some of the competition. And also in the Achiever, the user is able to set the speed and the time, and then they can view those settings on a digital control panel. Not every competitor has that capability where they have an actual digital control panel. So that's an advantage. And on top of that, on the control panel, we have a lock button. So once they input their settings, they're able to lock those in place. And that would really eliminate or prevent any accidental changes to occur in the middle of a run. A couple other things. So the unit is IP54, which means that the housing is sealed and it protects the electronics from potential splashes. And then we have, as far as the accessory goes, the Achiever attaches to a stand, and one of our stands we call a telescopic stand. And that makes it easy to manipulate the stir on top of and into the sample, just because you can slide the mechanism up and down on the stand, and it's real simple to for the user to use.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme here. This idea of keeping it safe and simple, which is seems to be a real hallmark of these products.
That's true. I mean, it's not just these products. We're trying to carry that theme throughout, like with the Guardian hot plate stirrers that we launched last year. We want to try to help. OHAUS wants to do their part in helping to keep laboratories as safe environments. People need to protect their samples that they're working with, but the researchers also need to be protected. So it's our goal to provide equipment that allows them to do that.
So before we close out, is there anything else that we should know about the Achiever?
Well, yeah, probably so. I mean, I could tell you from my own personal experience when I've set the unit up a few times for demos, it is built like a tank, and it's built extremely well. It's a very sturdy device, not just the stand that it sits on, but the device, the mixer itself. So that's the kind of message that I think I'd like to get across to our dealers and to the end users if they haven't had an opportunity to see the equipment firsthand. It's something that's extremely durable and will hold up well in their labs. The other thing is, since OHAUS does have other products, the Achiever can work well with those products, whether it's a balance or our hot plate stirrers. It really can become part of an entire laboratory workflow. Like in the example of the Achiever with the Guardian hot plate stir might not have the ability to stir such a large sample, so they can use the Achiever to stir on top of a Guardian that's heating the sample. So now you're incorporating two pieces of equipment and you're accomplishing two different things. So yeah, I guess that's the last message that I kind of wanted to leave off with, that, there's a lot of uses, and, think about some of the other equipment that might be needed as part of the workflow. And that's something that you could also probably get from OHAUS.
That's great. Again, if you don't have an answer for this too, but I was just curious. It seems like this is also a staple of OHAUS, where the products are not only made with the end user in mind, but they're also made with sort of cooperation between different instruments in mind as well. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. Yeah. That's our goal. I mean, as we continue to develop new products that will launch into the lab equipment portfolio, we will keep that as a theme. So from software platform, and even beyond lab equipment and into the weighing side, we want all of our equipment, from balances to lab equipment to centrifuges, to have a common theme so that they feel comfortable when they're working with them in the lab.
Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on. I look forward to speaking with you again.
For more information, visit our website, OHAUS.com, OHAUS, to view and download more information about the products featured in today's episode. All of these products are available for purchase by contacting your regional OHAUS representative. I want to thank our guest, Peter Will, for joining us today and for taking time to teach us more about these new OHAUS product lines. This has been an episode of OCast with Eric Hall, and I look forward to having you back for our next episode.